In my descent into covering indie games, developer Colorgrave initially caught my interest with the released Veritas back in 2024. I never got around to playing it, and I wasn't actually able to review April Grove either. So I took my chance with their newest release, Claire a la Mode, a chaotic speed platformer built around exposing frauds posing as bakers. I didn't know what I was walking into, but downing 3 Monster energy drinks back to back gave me the sugar rush I needed to tap into the pace this game expects from you. And let's get into that in this review. Claire a la Mode doesn't really waste time explaining itself. The story opens with a bake-off already in motion, and the only thing standing between you and the crown is Bee the Queen and her crew of cheaters trying to rig the competition. The tone lands somewhere between Saturday morning cartoons and arcade fever dream, but I honestly never had any clue what was going on. Still, I laughed at a few of the scenarios, but it's never really that deep. Anyway, the writing seems to assume that you'll keep up, but good luck doing so. Looking at the game's characters, it does seem like the cast is based on Colorgrave's previous games, Protocol and Cursed Crackers, which evidently take place in the same universe. If you played those, you'll likely recognize familiar faces, but I was flying blind and still found some fun. I honestly think I was hooked from the moment I pressed the right trigger and the character took off like they strapped a jetpack to their shoes. Claire a la Mode is all about speed. Stages are built around platforming, hazards, instant deaths, and objects that go flying the moment you touch them. The game is separated into 3 different parts hosting a set of stages, and you'll likely get through the first 5 pretty quickly. But that short run time is misleading. You see, you're expected to replay stages with different characters who have their own movement quirks, strengths, and drawbacks. Further, the stages only seem to get more challenging and chaotic as you progress after that set. In this design, some characters have tighter controls, others slide, bounce, or dart upward with an uppercut. The variety across these campaigns is wild. One moment you're running through a burning chaotic level, and the next you're in a boss battle that turns into a pinball table. And on that note, things do get a little crazier because there's also a boss that'll pull you into a match 3 fight, but honestly, sky's the limit. That messy energy is part of the appeal as you'll likely be dying a lot throughout all of this, but still the playfulness of the package makes it rewarding, similar to a classic arcade game. That said, the speed can turn into a problem. Since holding right trigger pushes the character to outrun their own animation, it creates a lot of blind jumps where you can die within seconds of entering a stage. But the game does reload instantly when you're hit, so expect to be thrown right back into the nightmare after taking damage. The randomness of the levels keeps you coming back, but the 1 HP system here really keeps some moments of progression to a snail's pace. While you are able to re-enter stages from the hub world, you can't just retry the boss fights, which do take some learning given the randomness of it all. There are more than 7 characters that you can play as, and I encourage you to take a moment to try each of them since they all have different abilities that'll force you to change up your approach to the platforming and level navigation. I had quite a bit of fun replaying stages as different characters, given that you can access new routes and retrieve hidden items only with the help of certain characters. In this style of platformer, that risk is part of the fun, but it can also be overwhelming if you prefer precision over chaos. The level structure across the entire game stays pretty consistent, with players getting through a quick collection of short stages followed by a boss fight. The hub structure in the game was a bit of a surprise following my first of many game overs. Here you can jump into previous levels that you've cleared, change characters, and talk to the various characters around town who don't have much to say, but they're still fun to talk to. Moving on, the soundtrack deserves just as much credit as the gameplay. Stage themes pump energy into every second of the experience, and I found that the boss tracks hit even harder. The mix of chiptune, bright synths, and colorful percussion gives the game a bit of a sugar-coated pulse that matches the action. It's pretty much the kind of soundtrack that sticks around in your head after you turn off the game. Now, there are some rough areas in this experience. A few attacks behave inconsistently, which can create cheap deaths when you have already been pushing through the fast levels. Further, the story moves at a speed that leaves newcomers behind quickly. And further, even with the campaign variety here, some players may feel like the core loop peaks early. If you expect more mechanical evolutions across the entire game, you don't actually see them. Claire a la mode will hit that sweet spot for anyone looking for a platformer that really just plays by its own rules. Regardless of your genre preference, though, there are some incredibly ambitious and clever systems at play here. Each campaign pushes new gimmicks, each character adds variety, and each level gives you a reason to replay and chase a better score. It captures that feeling some arcade-style games have where you close out the game, sit for a minute, and then want to open it up again because you want to try just one more stage. Yeah, Claire a la mode is that kind of game, and I'm glad I finally was able to play a title from this developer. Noisy Pixel is giving Claire a la mode an 8 out of 10. Thanks for watching. This video is brought to you by our supporters on Patreon. Noisy Pixel is run by a group of gamers providing independent gaming coverage through news, reviews, previews, and more. Check out our Patreon, help support our continued growth, and subscribe to keep up with all our future content.
Noisy Pixel.